Hello again. This video is a companion piece to my last behind the scenes video. Before, we got technical, but today, we'll get personal. Just a fair warning, this video is going to be supremely unedited. Probably my worst yet. I went so hard on the last one, and I want this one out now. So I'm just gonna play random footage in the background as we tackle all of these cues. But first, we gotta answer the most important question that I keep getting all the time. Favorite potato, Yukon Gold. The second most important is, will you do this level? The answer is always yes. I will do a video on any Sonic level. When I will make that video is the big question, but I will never refuse anything Sonic related. I think it's fun. I try to get ahead of this by making that PSA video in January. It's why the thumbnail and title is so big and gaudy, but I can't expect everyone to scroll through my channel, right? Sometimes you're new, you're busy, it's normal. But yes, any level you can think of, I am down to do, so don't worry. Now, on to the rest of them. I kind of got 4 broad themes of questions: channel, personal, off-topic, and Sonic. Instead of doing large chunks of each, I'm just gonna structure them in a fun way so we don't get too tired on any one topic. So, let us begin. What is your academic background? I have a BA in screenwriting with 2 minors, animation and media studies. And you can see how that's working out. Jokes aside, my 4 years in film school were a lot of fun and I wouldn't change a thing. Although I must admit, I earned my animation minor through studying animation, not doing it. I think I only took 1 class where pen touched paper. What's the level you're most excited to cover? Jungle Joyride, without a doubt. A level so good, I plan the rest of the Unleashed levels around it. For those who don't know, I'm building up to it, but we only have 2 countries left before we hit Autobot, and then Eggman Land after. Dear God. Favorite Sonic character? Metal Sonic. What food does your favorite Sonic character eat? Motor oil? Sonic's tears? Thoughts on Bionicle? Still got the whole first lineup, buddy. Complete with those little shaman sons of bitches. But my only proof is me cleaning the red guy. Sorry. I do have them, I swear. Do you have a day job? YouTube is my day job now. I've been saving up to attempt this for a while, and now I dedicate all my time to it. I still have things in the background to keep me afloat, but 99% of my existence goes to the channel in hopes of growing it in ways that I feel comfortable with. What were some of your old jobs? I used to be a social media manager, did some IT jobs here and there, and freelance writing occasionally. I did a lot of script coverage in college, and that sucks ass. That's where you read and review potential scripts for a studio. Suddenly you feel much better about your own writing, oh my god. Who's your favorite Sonic voice actor? I'm not too ride or die with any of the VAs. I think they all do a fine job, and each one is still Sonic to me. I grew up with Drummond, so I'd probably say him, but I love Martin Burke's classic Sonic. Any personality I ascribe to that little guy comes from that performance. It's so good. Will you make a community Discord server? This question has come up way more than I expected. Unfortunately, I have to say no for now, just because managing a server is just adding more to my workload, and I don't want to make someone else do it either. I acknowledge that it is hypocritical of me to talk about my community without actually having a place for everyone to congregate, so it's something I'd like to fix later. But also, I sort of enjoy communicating through just YouTube right now. It lets me tackle things like an email inbox, like an old man, essentially. I can get to them whenever I want. I imagine myself in a Discord server where people can get to me 24/7, and I don't see any videos getting done like that, ever. Not only that, I'm kind of a private person in general. I'm in servers right now where I say nothing. Sorry everyone, I'm just shy. I was thinking I'd be fine with an Ajakes Discord server if I had nothing to do with it, but where the hell is the fun in that, right? It's so weird. I joined Discord within its first year as an alternative to Skype, and it's always been a personal messaging system in my mind. So seeing kids these days with their Discord handle plastered on their profile, it feels like they're sharing their phone number. But Discord has changed a ton since 2015. And servers have become a much more viable option. I think I just enjoy my privacy for now. That being said, you know you can always contact me through my socials or the links on my channel page. I tend to reply. Again, apologies, I know I'm old-fashioned, but let's not rush things yet. Let's take our time, get to know each other a little bit better, you know? Where'd you get your channel name? I used to like cereal a lot. I thought it was cool. I collected boxes, I'm not even joking. So I took a nickname and just named myself a cereal. A big old bowl of Ajakes coming right at you. Please, don't eat me. Favorite soup? Chicken tortilla, scooped out with like actual tortilla chips. Although I do eat a lot of chili. Not on dogs. What is your favorite Sonic game and level? Probably Unleashed if we cut it in half and I could just play the day stages. But if you made me take in all of it, probably Generations. I still have fun with classic Sonic. I can't reveal my favorite level yet, but I'm sure you can make a good guess. Any hobbies you partake in? I really like collecting and building Lego. Got back into it in the last couple of years. I have a whole Lego channel you can check out. Warning, you will see me in real life. Otherwise, I like to bake, hike, and watch movies if I wasn't making videos. Oh, blueberry pie. It's been too long. I made croissants once that took like a bit of my soul, so I have to show a picture. In fact, this is the only time I can show my baking creations. Look at this. Look at this shit. Why do you swear so much? I don't don't swear at all. Fuck you. What will be your main focus after you finish with Unleashed and Generations? We've been pretty boost heavy on this channel for a while, so I'd love to just go through all those SA1 and 2 stages. Generations, I think, is gonna stick around for a while, with Shadow and the 3DS game. Are you a Sonic CD loving god, or a Sonic CD hating loser? I'm a Sonic CD disconnected Luddite, that's what. I did play it early in 2024 after I finished my 3-hour Sonic video, but I ran through it and finished it in like 40 minutes, skipping all the time travel stuff. So I need to like actually give that game a go and play it all. Expect a first impressions along with that one. Not 7 hours long though, I can't beat that. Why does everyone hate Sonic Omens? I don't know, I've never played it. Is there an update on which Sonic games you have played? Yeah, I should probably update that chart. Basically, I beat the core of Colors and Rush, but not the extras. I did Forces, I murdered Sonic, and SXSG, obviously. What is your favorite food / place to eat? Favorite food is probably like a rare steak, as boring as that sounds. Although a plate of Thanksgiving food is like my death row meal, that's kinda sacred. Favorite place to eat is probably In-N-Out. When I was in college, my order was a double animal style fries, and an extra large chocolate shake, and that was my dinner. I ate 2 other meals before that. I was a big boy back in the day. Do you plan on going to any conventions or hosting any panels? I'd love to one day and get the chance to meet some of you guys in person. My schedule can just be a little packed as is. I don't know if I have the credibility to host a panel. I don't know how I'd even get that, but I can always field questions, I guess. Was there a specific experience that made you start noticing the camera in Sonic levels? There was. This little bit right here in Rooftop Run. I was looking at the screen and thought, they're kind of like centering the roofs perfectly here. It's super noticeable. Oh, Rooftop Run. Yeah, that's neat. And then when you descend, I was like, okay, wait, this is like specifically framing just a ton of roofs. I wonder if they do this anywhere else. Turns out they do it everywhere else, in every Sonic game. What inspired you to make the level analysis? After inspecting Rooftop Run and Unleashed so much, I was wondering if there were any specific references that went by unnoticed in Gens. Once I found the roof drop, I realized it was pulling from much more than I expected, and I wanted to dig in deep. I thought it would be fun to structure the video around those references, because it would lead to an easy division of chapters. Soon I figured I could employ that structure to any other level, and that's how we get the level analyses we see today. What you think about Crush 40 song? I think it's fantastic, my friend. If I were to pin a favorite, it would be Open Your Heart. Thoughts on real hedgehogs? I'm for 'em! How would you redesign Sonic 06? I wouldn't. If I had the magic orb of changing, I would leave 06 just the way it was. It provides endless conversation and endless entertainment in its current state. I like that Sonic games can be bad because that makes them interesting. But if I must fix the past to save the present, I'd probably just do everything Project 06 does. When did you think it would be cool to make YouTube videos? So I made a Let's Play channel with my friend in high school after we fell in love with Game Grumps. The main goal was to just be personalities and have fun with it, and we did. But within that channel, I started to create sketches and created like a Machinima series in Gmod. It taught me a lot about editing. Making videos was always just to entertain each other. I mean, we wanted views, definitely, but the real goal was just to hang out. Eventually, I knew I wanted to make singular videos on my specific interests, that being Rock Band at the time, and I spun up Ajakes. How did you come up with your current video style? A lot of trial and error, I'd imagine. A couple years ago, I realized I love watching videos in a chapter format. It's fun to make too, because each chapter is like its own little movie you gotta direct. And I felt applying them to the levels was an easy move, because I had these clear segments and set pieces. The skits came from my first big Sonic video. I wanted to attempt them more, and eventually they just stuck around. What are some other games you like? This is gonna be bizarre, but Western RPGs and like story-heavy indie games. My top 3 is probably New Vegas, Mass Effect 1, and Disco Elysium. I love Outer Wilds, Night in the Woods, Undertale. Got like 1.5 thousand hours in TF2. Played that since the beta. I'm a Rock Band guy, I'm sure you can tell. And the rare exceptional JRPG, like Earthbound or Persona 4. That's kind of my stuff. What other games would you want to analyze? I'm not pivoting yet, so don't worry, nor is the actual answer exciting at all, but I'd like to break down quests in Bethesda games. I love them to death, but that would tank my channel into oblivion. So in a similar vein as Sonic, I'd love to look at Ratchet & Clank, Halo CE, Bioshock, Dead Space, Dark Souls, but those have been done to death. Maybe quests in OSRS, RuneScape, and no joke, Lego Star Wars. I'm talking about the original in 2005. I feel like there's a lot to say about those levels, believe it or not. What is your favorite game in the Rush trilogy? The first, because it's the only one I've played. Hoping to remedy that over time, though. I want to go on a fun summer adventure, goddammit. Favorite skit you've made? I rewatched the Windmill Isle one a lot, just because I love how I timed the patio explosion. It always makes me laugh. But I'm very proud of Arid Sands too. I was able to layer a lot of stuff in just 50 seconds. Can I be in a video? I don't think so, but I respect the hustle. Adventure or boost? I believe I've gone full boost as I've gotten older. I love the sense of speed and how much much they focus on cinematics at that angle, but it also makes me appreciate adventure games more in a strange way. Like, they're succeeding visually even with giving us a wide view and a more technical approach. Are the adventure games overrated? I think they're properly rated. I enjoy them a lot. If we're being honest, I think all Sonic games are a bit overrated when you take them as a whole. Nearly every single one has an aspect, aka playstyle, I don't like, but running as Sonic in both of his adventures matches the hype for me. Thoughts on these anime games? I've never played any of these, but I've heard of all of them. Isn't this one like proto-Undertale, or post-Earthbound, however you want to put it? Where did you learn to draw? How long have you been drawing? And when did you first start? In the corners of my math homework, like the rest of you. I only really started drawing a bunch in high school when I was participating on Tumblr art blogs. That's honestly where I learned a lot of my Photoshop techniques. I ended up stopping when I went to college, only doodling here and there. I really only got back into it last year, when I was like, fuck it, you know what? No one's looking. I'm gonna draw that robot Sonic AU I made up as a kid. And that spiraled into where we are today. Chase those AUs, my friend. You seriously have no idea where they could take you. How would you approach making a video on a phone? Now, this is such a good question, and I really wish I had an actual answer for you. But there's gotta be people in the comments who have done this before. If so, please sound off, because I think this info could help a lot of would-be creators. We have the technology, right? Might as well take advantage of it. What level have you gained the most appreciation for after analyzing it? Kingdom Valley. I didn't replay 06 before that vid, so I was already going in hating that game, but that first section really blew me away. I never explored that thing as a kid, and there's just so much to it. If you want to hear me talk about it more, me and Stelmo did a video on his channel all about it. Check it out. Roblox or Minecraft? Minecraft. I bought that shit in alpha, man. I don't even know what a chicken jockey is. Although I used to join Roblox servers back when it was oof central. You could wreck so many children in those little gun game lobbies they had. It was awful. Now it's like hyper-capitalist Gmod. I can't believe it. There are Roblox gift cards in the grocery store. Time flies. Will you cover Roblox Sonic fan games? Yeah, why not? I'll cover anything. Thanks for the picture. What is your favorite and least favorite analysis you've done? Least was Kingdom Valley, and you know why. Bad long intro, most hate comments I ever got. Favorite is probably the Speed Highway comparison. I made that thing in like 12 days between holiday parties. It was such an insane production, and I am so lucky it came out how it did. It was like a dream, so whenever I watch it, I'm like, did this even happen? Where did this come from? How did I make this? Thoughts on that new Deltarune? Yeah, let's talk about that right now. Surprise! First impressions! I had a great time with chapters 3 and 4. It was really fun to return to these characters again. Chapter 3 was the more wacky adventure, and 4 finally felt like it was landing a lot of the lore they've been threading in. Normally I'd be all over the wacky adventure, but I might have leaned more chapter 4 this time around, which surprised me. Chapters 1 through 3 felt like they were going through the motions. Good motions, but it was so nice to see some consequences to the overall story in 4. Still, I did appreciate chapter 3's abruptness. I think it was very smart they cut to the chase like right away. After years of waiting, you're already on the road within like 10 minutes. I also enjoyed the meta aspect of the gang wanting to get back to things beyond Tenna. Kinda reflected how I felt as the boards kept coming up. Like, this is all fun, but don't we got a story we gotta get back to? And I thought that audience expectation was integrated really well. The whole thing felt like a break from the overall narrative, which is why I can now understand why he waited to serve up 4 with 3. I imagine him just releasing 3 after all this time, and I feel like people would not have it. Only problem is, chapter 3 just doesn't feel like it creates a new world like 1 and 2. 4 kind of runs into that problem as well. Like, the Cyber City is a big place in 2. You can feel it in the backgrounds and how the characters speak about it. But 3 and 4 are just singular locations. Perhaps that was on purpose though, as we reach the middle of Deltarune. Something that I'm always surprised with is that Toby's gags still land. I always think at some point I'm gonna grow out of the humor, but even after 10 years, these games make me laugh harder than any other. I think beyond all the obvious interpretations, Deltarune is exceptional at being a satire of video games. It plays on so many expectations and subverts them constantly, seemingly just for funny's sake. It almost feels odd when the drama creeps back in, which might be why I loved 4 more. It felt like Toby could make a harder stand there, on just the world, the characters, and the dread of the overall narrative. I think chapter 2 will always be my favorite, but 3 and 4 still succeeded in making me care about the characters and laugh at the subversions. Good stuff! Alright, back to the questions. Name drop the top 5 hottest Sonic females now! Oh god, Metal Sonic, Mecha Sonic, Silver Sonic, Neo Metal Sonic, and the sword. Opinions on Sonic 4. I don't hate this game, it's totally fine. Classic Sonic with the homing attack, I kinda like that. There's even a specific level from this game that I want to make a video on. It was like a first pick when I was drafting up videos. However, I do think it is a boring Sonic game, which is the worst thing you can do to Sonic, so it's not like I'm replaying it. What are your thoughts on the Werehog? I don't like character action games in general. so I don't really enjoy the werehog. I will still cover night stages because I like the challenge of making a good video out of that, and I'll be fair in those reviews, don't worry. But he's never been my thing. Only time I like him is when I'm running past fights and just doing the platforming. Then it's kind of fun. It always felt like the werehog fell into the he's not bad category of extra playstyles, but I've never seen what the werehog could do that other character action games couldn't, you know? Like, are you skipping Devil May Cry and God of War to play the werehog? But yet again, it's just not my thing. Have you thought about making analyses on Sonic characters? I have. I don't want to interrupt my level schedule currently, but maybe one day. What's the most important part of the story in a level? Striking set piece or little details? I would say context, but then I'd be discounting a lot of great levels that exist as themselves. Like, I love Speed Highway a ton, but it's not propped up by much within the SA1 plot. I'd like to think it's how the little details prop up the vibe of the level. Like, regardless of the outside importance of Windmill Isle, if you still play that thing alone, you get seagulls trailing you, rolling hills, wind emphasized everywhere. It sells that relaxing vibe just through the little details. Speed Highway has all those big arrows, neon signs, and police sirens. It sells that downtown street chase feel. So it might be the details, yeah, I think so. Play any Zelda? What's your favorite? So I've played very little Nintendo games. I didn't grow up with many of the systems. I did finally try out the original game and A Link to the Past when they came out on Nintendo Switch Online. I'd love to tackle the 3D ones at some point, maybe for a first impressions vid. I could analyze like a dungeon after or something. Now that you've made their video, which level are you least excited to go back to, and which are you dreading to play? This is a tough one because I typically only make videos on levels I enjoy, but I also tackle the most requested ones, even if I don't care for them, and one of those was Sunset Heights. I don't care to play Forces at all, and even in Shadow Generations, it might be like my fourth favorite level. But on the flip side, that sort of challenge excites me in terms of video creation. Like, even if I don't care for the level, can I make it an entertaining video? That's really fun to put myself up against, and I loved it there. Plus, those levels were honestly fun to study regardless. Most dreading though is Bingo Highway with a bullet. I really try to stay positive on this channel, but I don't know how I'm gonna make it through that one. When I play that level, I start to wonder why we don't talk about Heroes and 06 in the same sentence. Oh god. Do you like more cinematics or gameplay in a Sonic level? I like both. I want to feel like I'm there, but I also want to be forced to respond to a video-ass game. Know what I mean? Unleashed does that for me. How did you learn to edit? School projects at first, but that was just slotting clips together. When I started that Let's Play channel with my friend, I tried to teach myself little techniques with each episodic upload. Eventually, we did that Machinima series I mentioned, and that really got me digging in deep. Once I started Ajakes, I felt like I knew what I was doing, so no editing classes, just learned for fun. Thoughts on the camera in Sonic games? You know my thoughts on the camera in Sonic games, camera guy. Come on! I hate it! Now, there were a collection of Crisis City questions I had to cut out of the BTS vid. Let's cover all of them now. Questions like, what is the first thing I prioritize when comparing levels? And what is most important to get right in a Gens remix? Wow, great question. First thing I prioritize is how the gameplay style might impact the feel for the level. For boost versus adventure games, this is very easy to illustrate. One is a pretty linear cinematic experience, the other is a much more open exploration. But they're still conveying the apocalyptic peril of the setting, which I think is the most important part for a Gens level to get right. Honoring and respecting that original vibe. Like, even if 06 and Gens have different playstyles, they nail the apocalypse. Imagine if the City Escape Act 2 in Gens had incredible SSX board controls down a massive asphalt mountain, but then they ripped out the music. It would feel disrespectful to the original, and I think players would refuse to engage with it in good faith. Generations is always good at respecting the original level, maybe even to its fault, so I think as long as they do that, people are happy no matter how you play. Do you record footage for multiple stages, or just do one at a time? One at a time now. Any level's video footage file is just that level. Back when I did Rooftop Run, I actually ran all Unleashed levels in that file, and I still use that footage in all my vids. They were like my cleanest runs ever. I'm shocked that I got them by accident so early on. Get any help with structuring the videos? If you mean outside help, no, it's all just me. I will run the video by friends before I post, however, just to see how it's feeling. Which version of Crisis City do you prefer? Retail doesn't count. Yes, it does, because it's that one. No, probably Project 06, but I will play through all of Retail just for that tornado run. What a horrible little moment that is. I love it. How do you determine which section gets more jokes than others? Your assumption within your post is correct. If I find myself getting in the weeds with the mechanics of Sonic, I'll try to keep the audience awake with more jokes. Entertain people who are not interested in that stuff, you know? And your second assumption is correct as well. Originally, District Destruction was just a basic ass summary. I wanted to shorten it more and not sound boring, so fuck it, Brain Boy time. It was supposed to be just one line line, and then I thought, I could just review the entire chunk this way. Thank you, Brain Boy. How are you able to make this without being boring to watch? Pacing. Oh god, pacing. Don't stay somewhere for too long. Keep moving the viewer along. Chapters are like a pacing cheat code. Use them. In my mind, a viewer is checking off a progress bar subconsciously as they work through your video. If they realize they got through chapter 1 without noticing the time and that it was fun, you got them for the rest of the video. Check out viral videos from large corporate channels like Wired, GQ, and Variety. They got retention down to a science. Notice how all those videos are cut up nuggets of info, and they can go on for over like half an hour. It's crazy. Where's your humor from, bro? It's hard to pinpoint, and a lot of it isn't even on purpose. Many jokes come to me in the moment during line readings, or seeing something funny in an edit. I think in terms of my editing style, Barry Kramer's work on early Game Grumps stuff is a very clear reference. In terms of writing the humor in skits, I look towards Simpsons in the 90s a lot, or Futurama. I feel like those shows have very clever ways of telling dumb jokes, and I always strive for that. Ever take out any jokes? A ton. A lot of times I want to get really risky with a joke, but then I'm like, is this on in the living room in some family's house? Like, Dad, look, I love this funny YouTube man, and then suddenly I scream fuck in front of everyone. If you're a kid, don't watch me. No, I mean, I don't make these things for kids, but come on, it's a Sonic thing. They're gonna show up regardless. I do try to test myself by earning my swears and not resorting to the safety of being internet crass. However, things get cut. You can't help it. I figure when they rewatch when they're older, they'll just have so many new horrible gags to discover. You know, when you watch cartoons and you're like, this was not written for children, oh my god. But yeah, a ton of 9/11 jokes. Moving on, that's Crisis City accounted for. Now let's get a palate cleanser and tackle something more wacky, because I told you guys no memes, and then you sent them anyways. So now I gotta get through these, and you gotta sit through that. Is the CA soup? Meme! How many boxes of Kraft mac and cheese can you fit in your sink? Meme! Hey Ajakes, I can't think of a single question, so I'm just wishing you prosperity. Meme! How many times in the script do you have to remove and then live and learn by Crush 40 plays? Meme! Approved. Will you marry me? No. Love your videos, by the way. Oh, okay. Do you goon to Sonic? Dude, grow up! Why is it called oven if you of in the No, we're not doing this. Opinions on sheep? Forum! What's 9 plus 10? I'm not doing your math homework. Are you pulling for Kita San Black? I'm pulling you off the iPad, nephew. Go pick up a book and give mom back her credit card. Could you draw your character literally breaking it down? Haven't I drawn enough for you? How did you make this? Very funny. How does Crisis City exist? Okay, I didn't literally make Crisis City. I made the video. Waffles or pancakes? People always go for waffles for the syrup trap bullshit, but here's the thing. There is setup and presentation with a waffle. Pancakes are a delicious side gig to any breakfast platter. They combine perfectly because they're not full of themselves. You made Crisis City? Damn, that level sucked in 06. You should feel ashamed. Shut up, furry! How did you make Sonic the Hedgehog? Do I look like I'm behind bars in a Japanese prison? Applejakes. Not my name. How's your day going so far? Great! Why did you decide to get a job in Crisis City? Great! Benefits and maternal leave. What's your opinion on the low taper fade? Every day with this question, Needle Mouse. I told you, I don't play Fortnite. Do you like pickles? Yeah, I fuck with pickles. Love that guy. Can I kiss the Iblis worm? No, she'd eat you. You don't want to be eaten, do you? Don't answer that. Can I expect to see more Sonic splatting into walls? Who's your favorite member of BTS? Hana, come on, I'm working here. It's J-Hope, obviously. Can I ask my question after the video? No, you can ask it now. Can I make a level analysis on your channel? After the video, dude, calm down. Do you own the song Tutu e Possible in Rock Band? Why you gotta rub it in, man? Why are you so cool? How are you so cool? Blood transfusion.
Hi, hello?
What type of gel do you use for your quills? No one even knows I'm a hedgehog, so clearly not enough. Rah! Shh, J-Cakes, I have to wake up early tomorrow. Will you wish me sweet dreams? Oh god, I'm too late. Now they're in the nightmare world forever. Would Sonic use a tiny umbrella when it rains? Yeah. How is that Iblis worm from Crisis City doing? Wouldn't you like to know? How did you survive Sonic 06? I accepted Sonic 06 for who he was. That's how. Who would win in a fight? Sonic versus Goku. I've never seen Dragon Ball, and I'm not even joking. I don't even know how many balls there are. 7? Do you know Sonic T Hedgehog? Oh, you want to be him so bad, don't you, Zach? Well, keep dreaming. Are there more slots to the janitor field? Yeah, I think something just opened up, believe it or not. How did you feel about the time you were fired by your boss? Not good, man. I don't know if you looked around, but I kind of need health insurance in this city. Can you give me $5? No. And those are all your stupid questions. Never talk to me, ever again. Now let's get back to the good stuff. Name drop the top 5 hottest Sonic females. Wait a minute. What do you consider peak cinema of all of the Sonic levels? Let's go beyond the general vernacular and focus on cinema. The peak of cinema in all of Sonic is City Escape. I feel like Sonic Adventure 2 owes its life to that level. It immediately sets the tone of the whole adventure. It's a moment, not a zone. A real big swing in making that adventure a tight, contained experience. So good. And I don't even like the layout of it that much. But we'll save that for the comparison, won't we? If you could pick a replacement for every level in Gens, what would they be? This has got to be covered by like every channel, right? It's such a fun question. To keep this quick, I'm gonna toss classic Sonic to the side and just focus on levels I'd like to see attempt a boost conversion. Starlight Zone, Oil Ocean, Hydrocity, Red Mountain, Green Forest, Hang Castle, Mystic Mansion Duo, Flame Core, Dragon Road, Asteroid Coaster. And I'm gonna back all of this up with nothing. Goodbye. For videos, will you do the fan project or the OG? OG always, if I can manage it. Project 06 was a special scenario. I don't want to make this a habit of bringing in the fixed version of each game, because then they're all great, and why make the video in the first place, right? Did you get enough sleep? Did you drink enough water? Despite my crazy work schedule, these are two things I am very strict on. I got a hard out at midnight, just to make sure I get 8 hours of sleep to keep me moving. And I am a hydro homie to the fullest. I got a hydro flask by me at all times, and I chug that thing constantly. I love water. Yummy. What niche fandom are you a part of? Pathologic 2 is a morose, heady, intentionally unfunctional Russian survival horror management read-along depression simulator that no Sonic fan should play. Seriously, if you decide to jump from Sonic Unleashed to somber pastiche, you are in for a bad time. But it's unlike any game I've ever played before, and I love it to death. And I'm so excited for the third installment, which is actually the second remake of the first game. Pathologic. Why study the cinematography of the Boost games specifically? Boost games move very fast, so I've always been interested in seeing how you convey proper directions to the player with such little time. Boost games are also fixed pretty forward, so you get the advantage of directed shots, rather than swinging your thumbstick everywhere. Within those constraints, I think you have to be visually smart, and that's what I love about them. Do you ever end up getting surprised by details when doing these analyses? Oh, all the time. And whenever I do, I mention it in the video. You already pointed out two good examples, but Speed Highway's bottom path was also something I never attempted until I made that comparison. Have you gotten better at art through each of your videos? I'd like to think so. The set piece database is a nice visual confirmation, as I can see myself attempting more complex pieces, but dare I say, I'm a little biased. Most memorable moment in a video game, period. Outer Wilds ending. I'm gonna yet again be one of the guys who recommends Outer Wilds, a game you will never play. Fave Sonic Mania OG track and remix. It's a cop-out, but Studiopolis Act 1. However, I love High-Spec Robo-Go as well. Such a fun song. Favorite return is probably Stardust Speedway Act 1. T. Lopes turned that thing into such a smooth vibe. Fantastic. In fact, you know what? Let's break things up again and tackle all the Sonic song questions. Favorite song from each mainline game. I don't want to do the mainline debate, so I'm just gonna list all the big games that I've played. Sonic 1, Spring Yard. Sonic 2, Hilltop. Sonic 3, Marble Garden. Sonic and Knuckles, Flying Battery. Sonic CD, Collision Chaos. Sonic Mania, Studiopolis Act 1. SA1, Choose Your Buddy, Slap Bass version. SA2, Vengeance is Mine. 4, Radical Highway. Sonic Heroes, Mystic Mansion. Shadow the Hedgehog, I Am All of Me. Sonic Rush, Metal Scratchin'. Sonic 06, Wave Ocean. Sonic Unleashed, Dragon Road. Sonic Colors, Asteroid Coaster, Act 1. Sonic Gens, Rival Battle, Metal Sonic. Sonic Forces, Ghost Town. Sonic Frontiers, I legit don't remember any from this game, so let's say undefeatable. Shadow Generations, Doom Zone. Favorite soundtrack as a whole is probably SA1 or Generations. Favorite song overall might just be Choose Your Buddy, slap bass version. Favorite 2D overall is Marble Garden, and fave 3D vocal track is Open Your Heart. Whew. Which game has the most interesting collection of levels? Looking back, I'm surprised how much they swung for the fences in terms of environments for Sonic Adventure 1. It's hard to imagine that Casinopolis, Ice Cap, Lost World, and Twinkle Park all exist within the same world, and that they all play differently. The other part of the question was, do you prefer when stages are more story/world driven or self-contained? I like the goofiness of the self-contained worlds, Heroes especially, but I also have a lot of respect for keeping things grounded under one main idea. Like, for the longest time, Unleashed stages sounded so boring on paper because it was just a bunch of levels from our world, but then I played them and holy shit. What do you prefer to make? Level comparisons or analyses? Honestly, the single level analyses. They're so simple in retrospect that whenever I tackle a new one, it's like a sigh of relief. When the comparisons come along, I gotta take a deep breath. How do you decide if a video is good or bad to make? I don't run into this issue, seeing as my content is pretty serialized. It's all down to the levels. And like I said, even doing a more boring level is still a fun challenge in terms of making a video. Had you considered using the OG 360 for Unleashed before landing on the Series X? This question makes me laugh because it kind of calls me out on my bullshit. For the most part, I want to always go for the original hardware experience, but since the Series X is still running that experience with official upgrades, I felt like it was still in the same ballpark and it would be easier on the eyes for people. When I make these videos, I always want to play the version that you can legally get your hands on, not anything you gotta mod. I feel like that helps more casual players get into the experience rather than showing them something that they have to download shit for. I know there's a lot of ways you can catch me on the technicalities of this rule I've made, but I'm just going for what I want. When I go for the ones that I want, I actually make the videos. Like, a big reason I haven't done a lot of adventure stuff is because when I did Speed Highway, a lot of people had issues with the version of adventure I played. And honestly, I understand what they're saying because I'm analyzing the look and feel of the game. That's why I tried running the ditch version of Sonic Adventure, but even that people had problems with and they weren't happy. People want me to play adventure games in a specific way, and I honestly agree with them. It just really does not get me excited when I play through a specific version on the computer. And I don't make videos I'm not excited to make, because those would be awful. I know a lot of you guys wouldn't even care which version of adventure I play, either of them. So I'm just gonna push forward and do those types of videos, even though I know people are gonna yell at me like every time I post them. But whatevs, we'll take it. Anyways, huge long tangent, let's get back to it. Favorite music genre? Neo-classical dark wave. Crank some Dead Can Dance and fold into yourself, buddy. No, probably dad rock at this point, if we're being honest. Recently, it's just been a lot of video game stuff. What type of music do you listen to while working? It's hard because I can't edit and listen to music at the same time. Some people can, and I don't know how, but on drawing days, it's a lot of Sonic stuff. Specifically this 9-hour-long chill mix of Sonic songs by Scourge LDK. I've listened to it like over 100 times now. Otherwise, I'll do things like the Pizza Tower soundtrack, any of the Undertale soundtracks, and the atmospheric Elder Scrolls stuff. So a lot of video game crap, basically. If there's one person you'd like to meet IRL, who would it be and why? Same for someone online and someone in the Sonic YouTube scene. I'm trying to think of someone I wouldn't embarrass myself in front of. Do you think Martin Scorsese would love to chat Boost versus Adventure? I think so. Someone online? Probably Germa. Someone in the Sonic YouTube scene. I'd love to shake the hand of anyone I've collaborated with in person. The videos mean a lot to me, and I appreciate them being a part of it. How did you live without Sonic during your time away? It was great. I had a life. No, truthfully, Sonic was always a fun guy at the back of my mind, but I really only got back into him last year. Other games with exceptional cinematography? This is hard because I never studied the cinematography of other games like I have for Sonic, but I think FromSoft games are very impressive with how well they can block structures in the distance, even when you have full control of your camera. Alan Wake 2 is incredible, but that game's essentially a movie. I've always wanted to talk about the specific positioning of fast travel points within Bethesda games. I always wonder how they decide to place you at all these locations, and what to point you at. Probably those. Are you a fan of the current open zones, or do you prefer more linear levels like Unleashed? I really came in at an awkward time because I fell in love with Boost right when I feel like Sonic Team was ready to move on from it. Boost is in Shadow Gens, but it's not the unwieldy top speed that I've fallen in love with now. That being said, I wouldn't want to change the direction of Sonic just for me. It currently feels like a natural progression of the formula, an intersection between Boost and Adventure, and I'm still loving it. If they were ever to make an SA3, I think now is the time. What creators do you think influenced your videos/style? Like I said before, Barry Kramer's editing on Game Grumps is a big contender. Even the way he makes and structures videos now with his own sketchy style. I went back and watched some of his stuff recently and realized, oh my god, I'm still just copying him, holy shit. I really like Dan Floyd's analyses. His animation of Sonic games video is one of the best ever. Same with Super Bunny Hop. I love how these large, impressive channels have a multitude of incredible essays ranging across a slew of different games, and still their most popular videos are on Sonic the Hedgehog. The blue rat reigns supreme, I tell ya. Thoughts on Dead Cells or roguelikes as a whole? I could never get into Dead Cells. I honestly think it was too hard, but I need to give it another shot. That was so long ago. But I like roguelikes. Hades, Vampire Survivors, Inscription, if that counts. That's a video game right there. You should play it. What is your ideal Sonic game experience? I want the boost of Unleashed in terms of gameplay. I'd like a story that can go to a lot of new places without too much weight placed on advancing the grand Sonic narrative as a whole. I want everyone to show up so I can say hi to the characters, but I really only want to play as Sonic, unless they play like they did in PO6. I also want a Metal Sonic game where you kill everyone. When is that happening? How would you design a boost level? It's times like these I need constraints, because I'm paralyzed with choice. I love the back half of Unleashed. I think those boost levels are just focused on the gameplay of Boost itself. There's no interrupting mechanics like Savannah Citadel or Cool Edge. Maybe we set it at night. Let's see how Sonic's boost impacts the environment. Maybe if you play well, you start lighting things up. Who knows? A lot of runways, minimal platforming/2D, and if it is there, make me work to skip it. A la Arid Sands. And set it all In Brazil, Unleashed 2, coming soon. Let's label that as my ideal Sonic stage as well. Sonic de Janeiro. Which Sonic game have you enjoyed to analyze the most? Unleashed. Whenever I do a video on that game, it feels like a vacation. I'm hyped every time. Favorite Unleashed video you've made? Windmill Isle felt so smooth. I love that video, but I'm happy with how much I was able to do with Arid Sands. Originally, that thing was gonna be 30 minutes, but then I was like, no, this is a top 10 level. If I don't go all out, I'll regret it forever. Talk as much as you want, Adam. What aspect of Sonic 06 has been your favorite? The openness of the zones is a bit of a cop-out, so I'll say the mid-character switches when they perform well in the P06. None really take me out of the moment anymore, and it's such a unique part of that game. What's your favorite BTS question? Let me guess. You want me to say this one, right? Well, you'd be correct. Second place is Engine's question about visual interest, because it forced me to actually look at what I do. Do you know of a good way to grab videos where you don't have to use a shitty website? I don't know the legalities of offering that kind of information, but I feel like the folks over at GitHub would understand that stuff really well. The legalities, I mean, of course. Favorite level theme? I love the spooky levels. A rare one, but whenever it pops up, I get excited. Mystic Cave, Pumpkin Hill, Hang Castle. I love how out of all the vibes of Sonic, that one is a holiday. It's awesome. Do you tend to overthink every detail of a segment, or not think at all? Overthink, definitely. To be honest, I don't think half the things I'm asserting in these videos were intentional at all. I'm just kind of making wild guesses. But that's the fun of it, right? Do you just want me to read a design doc to you for 60 minutes? No, let's laugh at Brain Boy getting things wrong. Are there parts in a Sonic level where you think different controls would assist better? Without reshaping the entire rest of the game, probably not. Unleashed's 3D platforming can be a bit too slippery for me, but I feel like that works much better in motion. Do you have a list of skit ideas? No, I just kind of come up with them as we enter production. I do have inklings of skits for many episodes, but a lot get warped as I begin. Like for Crisis City, all I knew was Office and Boss. Everything else evolved that first week. When you get to Green Hill and Chemical Plant, will you be splitting those comparisons between classic and modern? No, for those we'll probably do everything together, which means those videos will be huge, which means they're probably not coming out yet, so just sit tight. Everyone wants Green Hill now, but if we do Green Hill now, then what the hell do we hype ourselves up with later? Come on, think of the showmanship, the gravity of the first stage ever. Let's build up the hype. Let's get excited. How would you tackle open zone gameplay for analysis? Stuff like Knuckles' stages are pretty safe as they have segments just spread out on a big map. The Frontiers Islands, though, I have no idea, as there's so many tiny courses littered everywhere. I imagine when I get to that comparison, I'm just gonna speak broadly about them, but maybe we'll catch some specific references, who knows. How do you fit video making into your schedule? YouTube kind of decides my schedule, if we're being honest. I focus my life around it, sometimes to unhealthy degrees. My friends would kill me if I wasn't honest here, but I don't take as many breaks as I should. I'm typically working all hours of the day. I work on the weekends, on holidays, shit like that. This leaves me with very little free time. 10 to 12 is supposed to be my wind down hours, and in those moments, I want to engage with as little as possible. I'll replay old games instead of starting new ones, and it's hard to catch up on the videos my fellow creators make because I want my brain to be off at that point. It's just a really involved job, but I told myself if I was ever gonna take a chance on this full time, that I was gonna give it my all. YouTube is a risk, and I want to know that I tried my best. All this to say, I don't fit video making into my schedule. I schedule my life around my video making, and you should not do that. Lead a balanced life, folks, please. How do you deal with burnout? That's the question, isn't it, coming from our last? I'm trying to think of a rational answer to this, and there isn't one. Although I haven't totally collapsed into ashes, I won't lie that it can get pretty exhausting. If I were to pin my survival on something, I think it's because I truly love the process, warts and all. Even when I do complain to my friends about how crazy things are going, in the back of my mind, I have to admit that I love being in this position. I love the feeling of getting exhausted by making something you put your heart into. It's the exhaustion you get after, like, running a marathon. You want to collapse, but you feel so proud of yourself. However, it's not a feeling I'd wish upon anyone else, and if someone I cared for was attempting this, I'd ask them to be careful, which everyone around me has been advising. Don't worry. You guys have too, and I got the message. Crisis City was kind of a crossroad in my schedule. The reason I did these BTS vids was to balance more personal stuff in the meantime, and that's already underway. I think I will always go hard on my own projects, I just can't help it. It's like in my blood. But things are on the right track, have no fear. So, how do you deal with burnout? Take breaks, and don't do what I do. You know what hustle gets ya? A big old pile of ash. This is not a question. I just want to be kind. Aw, thanks guys. I will say, even after all the doom and gloom, please don't feel like work, you gotta worry about me. I'm taking care of things, have no fear. What motivates you to make this stuff? 2 days after posting my rooftop run comparison, I woke up and saw that I had 30,000 views, and I thought, I'll never get this lucky ever again. I made something so specifically for me, and somehow other people showed up for it. It was a realization that being genuine could be an avenue to success. By just being me, with my own idiosyncrasies, making things the way I wanted, the way I would make for my friends. And that's how it feels now. You might have noticed, but I stopped trying to bring in new viewers. I'm just catering to my current audience, and I'm loving it. I love that my videos have super basic thumbnails and titles, so when randos peek their head in here and see us all having fun, they feel like they stumbled upon something special that they now get to be a part of. And I think that earnest presentation and reception is what keeps me coming back. That I can share these art projects with people and then yap about the hobby at length. It's like a dream come true. I know after all the burnout talk, it might sound like I'm miserable, but I swear to God, I haven't felt this happy and fulfilled in a long time. Therefore, I'd say the things that motivate me are the exact things I ended my BTS vid with. The process, the release, the product. Making the videos, talking to you guys, and putting something out into the world that I know I made for myself. So, why do you do this? Is the tism that strong? Because it's fun, man. It's so much fun. I love making stuff, and I hope I could keep making stuff till the end of time. As for the second part, I have no clue. I never got that checked out. Maybe. And with that unsolved diagnosis hanging in our minds, we will end things there. Because those are all the questions we got for this Q&A. Maybe we can do this again next year. I'm sure questions always arise. Even if these break videos won't get a lot of views, they still had a valuable and surprising effect on me, as they led me to speak with many other creators about their process, and it was just so fascinating. Same with you guys in the comments. I encourage you all to put something out there. Making videos is good for the soul, I tell ya. But it was really fun answering all your fun questions and talking a bit more about myself. Thanks for listening and watching. I'm sorry this wasn't as edited, but that BTS video was a lot of work, and I'm already itching to get back to more levels. And which level might that be? Well, it's gotta be small, and I'm currently eyeing something from the adventure era, maybe on a game we haven't even done yet. Stay tuned. As for now though, thanks again for all your questions. Hope you had a good lunch or you folded some good laundry in the meantime. If you enjoyed your meal or your sweatshirts, please do like the video, subscribe if you haven't, hit the bell for notifications, and leave a comment if you prefer. It's all up to you. Okay, I'm gonna go make another level video, which I'm gonna do now. So farewell, love you guys, see you next time, peace!